Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday comment review reading right now. That is what we are doing at the moment. I should probably turn that down. Um, yeah, a little bit late today. Kind of a busy last couple days, but we are here and we're gonna read some comments. And you let me know what you think. We got a whole nice range from very nice to very unnecessarily mean. We'll get to that one when we get to it. But let's just dive right in. And if you want to be in this video, leave a comment and you might get in. Yeah, and subscribe. Good. Like the video. All right. Start here. Benjamin Wiseman. Royal Knights is the best deck in the format and the most expensive since it uses most secret rares. It's kind of upsetting. Angels don't play Ruin mode, but that's still an expensive deck. Didn't even mention the Shadow's Rafimon. Okay. I want to issue a correction here before we get started. As a yellow vaccine enthusiast, as I am, as someone who has topped events with yellow vaccine decks, and plays yellow vaccine all the time. Sure, you don't have to play Ruin mode in Angels, but you most certainly can. And let me tell you something: when you're playing an Angel deck, and you drop that well-timed Ruin mode, forget it's game over for the opponent. So you gotta be careful with statements like that, because especially when there is a very knowledgeable yellow vaccine player in the chat, you gotta be. You can't just say stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't dare tell, Mr. Sean, the Oceania Galantmon champion, in his little group, well, actually, you should do this in Galant. No, I don't have a place. Why would I do that? But more substantively, and the point of this statement, Royal Knights, definitely one of the top decks for sure. Debatable best deck. Okay, whatever. And it is expensive because the deck plays a lot of secret rares. It's just, this is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes the most expensive decks in the format are very expensive because they play a lot of secret rares and stuff like that. But it could get a lot worse. I'll give you an example of this. Teledad format in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Arm Dragon was a secret rare. That was a secret rare. That was a, yeah, I don't know why I said like that. It was a secret rare. $250 per copy that you need 3 copies of. It gets worse. So luckily, Digimon is still fine, and yeah, it is upsetting, but it could be infinitely worse by a long shot. Dr. Pulcinella, I don't know if I said that right or not. I apologize. When a regular super rare is 45 to 50, we have a problem. Now, who wants to have that conversation that this game is starting to develop a generic boss monster problem? See Ruin Mode, see Hex, see the new Valderarm as just a few examples. I don't know if we can call it a new... Well, I guess most of the time it is boss monsters. But we do live in the Digimon TCG where the boss monsters, your top end, is so powerful that they can end games without any kind of interaction with the opponent. We've seen it for the last, oh god, it's been quite a while. BT9, I'd say, is when it really, really started. Well, these X-Antibody boss monsters, like, yeah. Digimon doesn't have a boss monster problem, but that's intentional by design, right? The whole point of Digimon is to digivolve your monsters and unlock their potential by having them reach that mega level, and that's the way Digimon is designed. This game will have a boss monster problem. The only problem with it is that the boss monsters, you can't interact with them in a lot of cases, so it does create very unhealthy game states, for sure. Mogzer. Yeah, with how things are going, I'm probably going to stop playing TCGs altogether for a long time. I already have enough BS on my plate that I need to pay for, rent, car insurance, groceries, etc. And then people telling me I need to buy specific cards that are $50. Fuck off with that. I'd rather, at this point, pay $90 to $100 for a Switch 2 game when the console comes out. Okay, this is a really interesting comment. This might be the comment of the day. I'm going to explain to you why. Because this person here is doing a lot of really important self-discovery. I can relate to this myself. When I was going through my Max Rare Yellow Vaccine phase, and I almost blew $10,000 on Yellow Vaccine Max Rarity cards, I had to ask myself, am I doing the right thing? Yes, I can afford it. No problem. But am I doing the right thing? The answer was no, which is why I stopped. Why? Why on God's green earth, as someone who puts money in the stock market, why did I convince myself that instead of buying stocks or investing in my other businesses and stuff, to buy yellow vaccine max rarity cards? Like, this is definitely, since I've joined the Digimon TCG, like top 3 blunders. Like, it blows my mind. So I can relate to this on a smaller level. We are, life is getting more expensive for a lot of people. It is. Not everyone that plays Digimon TCG earns the same amount of income. Like, it's true. Not everyone is going to be the same. And that's okay. So to be able to take a step back, from card games in general, and say, you know what? Life is more important. I'd rather just buy my Switch games and get more fun out of them. That's super wholesome. That's really, really good. And I respect self-discovery like this because it's really important. I myself, yellow max vax rarity vaccine cards aside, I'm not even throwing as much money personally in the game anymore. But that's because there's no points, because there's no events and whatever. And right now, I'd rather do hobbies that I'm not locked out of by events or whatever. Which is why I started to pick up other hobbies in the last, few years. And I'd rather spend that time, if there's going to be no events to test for, do a little bit of testing for my YouTube membership and all that, and spend the rest of the time doing something else a lot more enjoyable. And honestly, it's been other hobbies. And it's been, putting the time and extra work into my, career so that 6-figure income keeps increasing every year. And it wouldn't be doing that if I didn't take a step back at one point in my life and say, I better fucking figure my shit out. So I really respect this comment. And honestly, card games might not be for you right now. And that's okay. That's good. So I really appreciate that. I think that's the most longest. That'll be the comment I probably spend the most time on because it's the most genuine and I hear it. Scoop. Kentaurismon is definitely a must grab for sure. That is a good card and will definitely spike up in price once the X-Antibody form comes out. You can put any amount of money on that right now. I guarantee that's true. BT13 Alt Art will go up by some degree when that X-Antibody eventually is revealed. Assuming it is. Jermaine Evans. Glad I snagged Alt Metallic Dramon for cheap based on your reports on Alt Volcanic Dramon. I had a feeling Metallic was next to move up. Well, yeah, we were calling that for a while, right? So I'm glad this guy went for it. It's really good. It's really nice. Aragon Friedman says, so tired of the Royal Knight stuff, to be honest. Give me more Demon Lords. Again, Agudamon X, that's a thing that's going to happen at some point. And when it does, I'm sure the Demon Lord deck will get a new round of support. I'm sure. Kind of like how the Royal Knight deck got a whole round of support. Like, we got the Cool Boy, we got the Omni X, and a whole bunch of good Royal Knight aces and other stuff in BT20. I'm sure it's coming for Demon Lords as well. I'm sure it is. Mox Moonstone here says there's 43 store regionals confirmed for May, and that is cool. That is a Bandai W. If I don't make a separate video acknowledging it, I'm gonna try to, but I've been very busy. So if I don't, this is huge. This is a good thing. And Bandai deserves praise and recognition for it. On the opposite end, I hope they're not blowing all their budget on store regionals because real regionals are cooler. It's just my opinion, though. I might be wrong. Did I skip one? I did. Daniel J says, could a world regional be in the works? Of course, time zones would be a factor, but it could be a huge event if pulled off. And then a lot of different questions here. So, in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Magic, yes. And I think Lorcana too. Lots of different regions in the world have lots of big tournaments that anyone can just fly up to and play, which is very nice. And I really appreciate that. Digimon, that's always been met with hesitation. I think that should change. I think that, let's say if the price support was really good and I wanted to really grind it out, I would love to fly up to Italy for our freaking regionals, spend a week there, spend time with my Italian family, then play the regional on the weekend, and fly home. Like that would be really cool, you know. Now Bandai has to be really smooth with that. They have to have the prize support worth it. It's got to be worth your time, which could argue right now that it isn't. But you never know. Things could change. Rayquaza here says you can't compare One Piece to Digimon. One is breaking records and the other is stagnant. You can compare, especially those games, because they come from the same company. You actually can compare them. You know, a lot of people will say you can't compare Pokemon and Digimon. Like, they're on separate planes of existence. Whatever. But you can definitely compare One Piece and Digimon. Absolutely you can. You can compare anything in the Bandai space, the current Bandai space, to each other. And I think you should. I think it's healthy. And One Piece is breaking records. True. 100%. Digimon, in comparison, is stagnant. Though, not for long. Like, I don't think anyone will be able to say Digimon is stagnant for much longer, because things are really going to start booming this year, which is a good thing, which I enjoy. Pandora Artist. That was the sound of the pre-sale corporation storing toilet paper at your shop. I reckon you might start getting creepy phone calls soon as well. That one market watch I did where I heard that weird noise up there. Like, that was really weird. I got a lot of different comments on what that was. It was a pleasure to read through. Very scary at the time, but very funny in the end. Wanfi. What's your opinion on the Tamer's Evolution box, $200? Is pre-sale worth it or wait? I think the pre-sale's worth it. I really do. Worst case scenario, you'll be able to flip it for profit later. That's not bad. This is the comment. This is the one. I laughed out loud when I read this. Stephen G says, God, your content is shit. You still trying to rip people off at events. So I'm going to break this down into two parts. And if Stephen G has the testicular fortitude, I invite him to comment back on this video with his thoughts. First of all, if my content is shit, you don't like it, then why are you watching it? Hello? If you're still watching it even though it's shit, then there's some part of you deep down that enjoys watching it for whatever reason. So you should really self-discover that if you still plan on watching my content. This is the second part that I'm more interested in, because I think I can count on one hand the last 2 years the physical Digimon events I've been to. Seriously. That's not an over-dramatization. It's the truth. So, like, I actually want examples of ripping people off at events. I want concrete examples, proof, receipts, because I have no idea what you're talking about. You might be getting confused with someone else. So, if you have the balls, please comment your receipts. I would love to read them. J Phantom. Bandai really needs to do a rarity collection type set for Digimon. For example, imagine if August 2025, if we got reprinted for cards for every Super Rare Plus card from BT16, EX7, then we got another one in BT18, EX09, January, December. It would reduce price in the secondary market and give much needed reprint. Another option is they could re-release out-of-print sets on Premium Bandai, be able to order as many as they want for the sale period. That way everyone gets a chance to open the set that they missed. Card shops wouldn't gamble buying inventory that players are not interested in. Bandai print money, win-win. I agree with all of this because it would be a money sink, like for real. Now, credit sort of where credit due. They kind of do their own thing in the rarity collections. Like, for example, the thing that's coming out in December that costs $200 USD to buy. You know, that's sort of kind of it. Bandai's weird way of doing a rarity collection. Okay. But, you know, they should print out of print boxes. Like they would print money. They would literally print money. Like they would. Now, I think the reason why they don't is capacity. And I don't think they really care about that. So it's never going to happen. But they would be a money printing strategy for sure, should they decide to implement it ever. Visrael. By the way, I do come from Yu-Gi-Oh! I stopped playing since Digimon released back in 2020, so I do know what the prices are, since I do not play IRL anymore, but I do see content and play Master Duel. That is why I'm more aware to get cards that I know and I like, I want to play. That is why I try and buy the cards on release day. Also, I got 3 more friends that buy boxes with me, so we can all have the deck load and ready. Only problem is promos. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players really know the Digimon market. It's very similar, and promos suck. Absolutely. And definitely do buy cards on release day. You'll never go wrong. Arco Plitz. It's hard to sympathize if you waited to buy Rena after All Force was showcased for BT22. The deck was inevitably going to get more support. If you wanted to play the deck, you should have got the cards months ago, especially once Cyber Eden was initially announced. Yeah. It's like I just don't get some people. Like, you seriously think All Force is never going to get support again? Like, hello? That's the beauty of the Digimon trading card game. There are a lot of cards that you know are going to get support, which makes investing in them a lot safer. It's not like you're just throwing money against the wind and hoping that it blows back to you in your favor. No, you can actually make semi to plain old intelligent decisions on things you could invest in to make capital gains down the road. Alternatively, if you don't care about that kind of stuff, just grab your stuff cheap before it explodes. If you're an All Force enthusiast, you should have had your Renas when they were cheaper. Like, what are you doing? And a card like Rena is not likely to get power crept because the All Force deck has to play 12 Tamers. Well, approximately 12 Tamers. So, even if B22 comes out, a new All Force Tamer comes out, and it's really good, you're going to play 4 of that one, but you're still going to play 4 Rena. Unless they dramatically change the direction the deck is going in. But to really do that, come on. Come on here. Vindy Swartz. Digimon needs an equivalent of Megatin. They'd make so much money. I just threw that in because we talked about Reddit collection. A Megatin would also make money. For sure. Without a doubt. X-Fan Canon. I think as long as we stick with our strengths, the story will be that Digimon will continue to survive and thrive over time. Our community is always so kind and generous, even to a complete stranger, and the general enthusiasm and passion for the game is a world apart from other card games I've seen, which make it really special. I want to be careful because there are a lot of toxic traits starting that are representative of the more toxic parts of some card game communities, like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. There is a lot of toxic shit. I don't know if you've been on the Digimon 2020 Facebook group, but sometimes there is just so much hatred, so much "no, you're wrong," with no justification whatsoever. Just childish bullshit. There's so much. Same in the Discord group, same in the Reddit. It's just garbage. So, yes, Digimon is a lot more wholesome right now. But there's a lot of shit out in there. So just be very careful where you go and where you look. And lastly, I think it's the second lastly. No. Well, we're almost there anyway. Edward Mendez. I am not doom posting. That cracks me up. The intelligence community of the Digimon TCG is not super strong. People that think I'm doom posting are just stupid. And I hate to be, I just talk about toxic people saying toxic things. But there's no other way to put it. If people cannot separate critical thinking and or critical criticism and doom posting, I can't help your brains. I'm sorry. I really can't. Ronnie Reaper says that Flame Dramon is getting it reprinted in the LMO6 pack in October from Premium Bandai. That's great. Unfortunately, that doesn't affect our market right now. It'll affect our market in 6 months from now. But not right now. So for now, Flame Dramon will still be expensive. Captain OD, waiting for some As Per Tradition merch. One day, probably. I'll get to it. Still no time. Really don't. And this is the last comment of the day. Bad Wolf. Long-time listener. Thought I had some, but forgot to check my stash. Now Analog Youth is climbing again. Listen to Mario. He has the mushroom wisdom. I do. You listen to me, you'll do well in this Digimon world. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. That's it for today, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you later. Bye!